big fear that I and many other Christians have right now is that there is this impulse after seeing what part of the culture is doing. There is this sort of impulse to leap into a form of neo-fundamentalism. And I don't mean that as a slur like I meant before. I mean that in the more proper sense that back in the day, German liberal Protestantism sort of infiltrated American churches and stuff. So there was an attempt to go back to the fundamentals. And there is even a set of books that was written on that to try and preserve the fundamental truths of Christianity. But that very quickly devolved into a very reactionary anti-culture. If they believe this, we have to believe the opposite sort of viewpoint, where their theology was not driven by what the text of Scripture actually says, but was driven primarily by what does the other side believe so we can believe in the opposite. That's not a good way of doing theology. That's not a good way of picking your beliefs. And I've got to say that fundamentalism left very little cultural impact. It won very few converts, and original fundamentalism is slowly dying away. What did do a lot of work is what was called neo-evangelicalism. The founders were people like John Stott, J.I. Packer, Billy Graham, which held to the fundamental beliefs, but did so in a way that was not anti-cultural, but did so in a way that was conversant with the people in the culture, that didn't basically, become reactionary, and basically say, we're going to become the exact opposite of the people around us. And that is actually why Billy Graham is remembered today. And there is no analogous person in the fundamentalist movement that we remember today and respect. Today, I think we're seeing a rebirth of that, where people like, if the left wing, if progressives who are the enemy, sort of this generic enemy, believe this, then we have to believe the opposite to an extreme. And this is where I think a lot of Candace Owen is being tempted by. She sort of jumped fully into this, denying dinosaurs, moon landings, vaxes for kids, and stuff like that. I don't think this comes from each one from a well-reasoned. She did her research on each. I think it is primarily driven by how can I be most unlike the people who are my enemy. And I do not want to see the Christian church in America make that mistake again.